Welcome to GoldBoys Live, presented by Pickett Sports Sleeper Picks. A busy day. Brad, Brian, Josh, all here. We will go over reactions from yesterday. We got a fun Monday night game. We got two baseball games. A lot to discuss, boys. Let's just get right into it. I guess we'll just start. Biggest, reaction, a takeaway from yesterday. Kind of an ugly day of football. Brad, I'll start with you. What's a takeaway from yesterday?
I hate betting the NFL, man. God, it just sucks sometimes. My day's cruising along because you have the 1 o'clock slate, the clock's late. Then I'm cruising along, cashing tickets, man. I'm on top of the world. Then we get to the 4 o'clock and things start to get a little sketchy. And then we get to prime time. I didn't win a single bet, and I was like, wow, this is pretty gross. It's just it's tough, man. Week in and week out, I think that also numbers are driven by news that is really a non-factor. Like the Browns haven't been good. It was a fluky game, but I'm saying the Browns haven't been good because of Deshaun Watson. That number, is Deshaun Watson really worth 6.5? That should have been our question, right?
Yeah.
No one wants to bet. No one wants to bet Browns plus 15.5 or whatever it was. The line was 3.5. Is Deshaun Watson really worth all of those points? I feel like the books, we saw it's always 2020.
Yeah.
There was a good opportunity for us to make money. Even I was on minus 3.5. I could have even tried to bet the plus side because I don't think Deshaun Watson's worth that many points. We can start asking ourselves when these injuries happen, how many points is this player really?
Yeah, and I mean, one of my things was I feel like the week before was a week of the favorites. This was a bit more felt like week of the dog. Maybe it was just because the Niners lost and the Jets lost. The Bills didn't cover, at least in terms of not covering. Right, like the favorites, they were doing that last week. I don't think it happened as much this week. And hindsight can be 2020, but I think I just wish I had a memory eraser each week so I could just start this week anew and not remember anything that happened the previous week or the week before that, and not use any of it. Just look at it objectively and go, you're gonna lay 9.5 points on the 49ers in the rain against the second or first best defense, and it's the two best defenses in the league facing off. Right. And you're gonna just think that they can cover 10 easily because their defense is so good. They can't necessarily score in those conditions, whatever. So it just things like that. Even the Bills coming back, Dable has their playbook. I mean, It's similar, right? There's a lot of things you can look at. I mean, I agree with you, Brad, that hindsight's 2020. I do think that recency bias is the thing that trumps all this logic that we could have used and then we didn't.
Yeah, this is not one of those Josh victory lap type things. But on the show last week, I did say I would bet a little bit on the Browns if it gets to over 10. So I did just feel when you're with your family, with friends watching the games, I didn't really bet it as I think this is good. It was just kind of what Brad was saying is football is weird, and that moved 7 points. It wasn't anything I was whatever, but yeah, kind of saying what you guys are saying is football can be really, really frustrating. And I think it's good to just try to not have palpitations when you're betting on football because things don't go your way, because things just really can go the other way. I put in the group chat yesterday, Evan Ingram, 41 yards in the first half, 2 catches for 0 yards in the second half. So it's one of those things where you can spend time getting mad. You can spend time just looking forward to the next thing. It's pretty gross sometimes. Yeah, it's interesting with the 49ers game too, because that was 7-0 right away, right off the bat. And I think they got a turnover where they were inside Cleveland's 30, and the live line was 16, 17. I was like, just a typical Niner game. McCaffrey scored. They're going to roll them, and then they just it looked like they're going to roll them. You know, it was too was the deep ball to Amari Cooper. I forget who was in coverage. The cornerback slipped in single coverage, and then you slip in the range in single coverage. That's a big play waiting to happen. That's kind of what brought him back. Yep, and Purdy finally had a bad game. Look, I mean, I think the bigger thing, the refs were a joke in that game. They really helped the Browns out. Purdy wasn't good, but the big thing is the Niners, they have all these guys, and we've mentioned it. I've mentioned it, Deebo Samuel, McCaffrey, throwing Kittle. These guys are always banged up, and they've been healthy, and now Samuel leaves the game, McCaffrey leaves the game. They're both questionable. So I wouldn't ding San Fran too much. It still took a lot. They still should have won the game. I thought they got a little conservative playing for a 41-yard field goal, which is not automatic, especially in that weather, but I would think the injuries are more concerned than anything, but nothing major in terms of the 49ers.
No, I thought Kyle kind of didn't help them either. Run the ball, man. Run the freaking
closer
ball.
Too. Make a 31-yard. If you miss a 31-yarder, then it's on the kicker. 41.
Why did they? Yeah. When I saw how far they were away, when they were just all right, screw it, we're gonna kick it. 40? Like,
Yeah.
come on.
They spiked the ball with 8 seconds and they let the clock run off. What 14, 13? It's a lot. They
But
had a lot.
I get
Why
why
did they
he
get
did
rid
it.
of Gold?
I
Robbie
get it.
Gold was good. I always trusted
never
Robbie
fired.
Gold. I
That
didn't
was
get
the-
why they
that
picked
was
Moody
the-
so high. That was strange, that whole thing.
That was the
But
other.
I get
that was the
I
joke
get why
yesterday.
I get it did the spike. Obviously, like they wanted
Yeah.
to save their timeout just in case anything happened. But no, Tone, I don't agree. It's not 41 yarder should be easy. It's getting every yard you can in a clutch situation. Like
Yeah, that was
41. The difference between a 30. Look at the percentage. A 35% compared to a 40% is a big difference in make percentage in the NFL.
Yeah, but Will, I'm glad you made that point because that was a joke me and my friends were saying yesterday when they missed it because we had it on red zone silence because the Eagles game was coming on, and we were like, "Is that Robbie Gold? Is he still around?" I think he's been kicking for 38 years. My entire childhood until now, I feel like Robbie Gold has always had a home.
Yeah, and I trusted Gold.
Yeah.
He's one of the few kickers where you feel good. I feel like 41, you should make it. I agree, but when the game's on the line, it's pressure, it's outdoors. Like I'd much rather
you're
if I
young.
can get that to 28 or 29. Then it's then you don't worry about it missing. Then if he misses, it's like all right, you got real issues. But 41, I don't know. You could have gotten closer. I didn't feel great about that. I'll give a takeaway here. I'll just think Ritter stinks. I don't get what they're doing with Ritter. That game sort of flew under the radar because not a lot of people care about Washington.
If you watch
That's a
red zone, you saw it for
decent team,
38
though.
seconds. You only saw it for 38 seconds if you watch red zone. It was not shown at all.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they have a chance to win that division. Like the winner of that division, Tampa didn't look good yesterday. Saints aren't very good. Carr is who he is. Like he can win that division with 9, maybe 8 wins. Like Atlanta's got to do something. I know Heineke's not, Patrick Mahomes, but can you trade for Cousins? Can you give Heineke a shot? I just don't understand the loyalty to Ritter. So that was.
Can you explain how they keep justifying it? I feel like at this point, it's not like they're good. It's not like they're bad enough where it doesn't matter. Like, what's the justification?
I don't understand it.
Even for a week, like imagine they put on go 1 week and then they like, oh hey, this didn't work out. We can go, but like it's just I don't understand it.
If you picked him 8th in the draft, it's like all right, we got to see what we have. We got to give him every chance to fail. You took a flyer on him in like the 3rd round, and he was like the 75th pick.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I just don't get it. I really don't.
He like has random moments of looking
A
good.
couple weeks ago, he was okay, but
no, even in yesterday's game, there were some throws to Drake London.
He was
stuff.
awful.
No, he was overall bad, but he still threw for 2 touchdowns and had like 290 yards or something.
Well, when you're losing the whole game, you're going to pile up some.
Yeah,
yards.
no doubt. I'm just saying there were some throws that like he looked good. I don't like him. I agree that he stinks. I'm saying like if they're still holding on to like this shred of hope, it's because they're like one every 4th throw is like, damn, that was a really good throw.
Yep.
So that would be the logic, I suppose. But yeah,
who wins that division, by the way?
The NFC South.
Yeah,
the Bucks.
Yeah, I still think the Bucks are in good position. I think
Okay, the Bucks didn't look good, but like the Lions are freaking good.
They're fucking
Like
good.
they're really good. Like
Yeah.
I can't. I feel like people are afraid to say
I agree
that.
with that. No, I agree with that. I just think if you look at Tampa's wins, like Minnesota, they had 3.5 yards per play. The Bears, they're up 3, and the Bears had the ball late. And then they played the Saints, and Carr was hurt. So I just think their 3 wins are kind of phony. I mean, they might win it. I don't know. 8 or 9 wins is going to win it.
But
I don't know.
But we do that with every team, and then we go back, and then we think about it, and we're like, well, let's do the same thing with the Falcons, or like let's break down the Falcons and why they're so terrible. Like if they're not running the ball, they suck because because Desmond Ritter is a terrible quarterback, like bottom 3 rate quarterback.
Kyle Pitts scored yesterday, guys.
Yeah,
So
did you guys see when? Okay, so Kyle Pitts scored, and then this dude, some like random middle-aged white dude, runs down to like the front of the like stands, takes his shirt off, and he's wearing a Kyle Pitts jersey underneath, and he's like mock celebrating, like going crazy because Kyle Pitts scored a touchdown, and then he grabs some other dude wearing a Kyle Pitts jersey, and they start like dancing around in mock celebration because he finally scored a touchdown.
By the way, NFC South odds: Saints plus 170, Falcons plus 175, Buccaneers plus 200, Carolina.
I'm not saying the Bucks are any good. I'm not saying the Bucks are any good. I'm saying these teams suck bad.
I agree.
That I don't want to discount any wins that any of these teams get.
It's not an unreasonable. I mean, look, the odds are reflective. It's pretty much a 3-way toss-up. If you said the Saints, I would make an ugly face. If you said the Bucks, I say an ugly face. If you say the Falcons, I shrug.
What's wrong with the Saints?
What about the Panthers?
Carr stinks. Carr's always stunk. He's just always put up. He's played on bad defenses, so he puts up garbage yards. He's a little Cousins-y, where I never understood how, like, if Derek Carr is the answer, you're asking the wrong question.
I have a question for you though, in terms of that. Are we sold that he's fully healthy? The last 3 weeks, I mean, I was on Olave yesterday, but it took him to the second half to get like a target. Taysom
Yeah.
Hill has like 9 or 8 targets. Alvin Kamara had another 8-target game. Like he's not like as good as or bad as you think he is, Will, which I'm not a big Derek Carr fan at all. He has an arm, and they are just check down city, and you can't win. Even it doesn't matter who you're playing. You're not going to win
Right.
if you're throwing the ball 2 yards and a cloud of dust every single play.
He's always been a throw it short of the sticks guy. It's 3rd and 8. He'll throw it 4 yards. He's always done that kind of stuff.
He
So I don't know.
doesn't have Adams anymore though to make that work.
Yeah. So on the other side of that game though, the AFC South, I kind of still want to bet on the Texans to win it. Do you trust them over the Jags at all? I mean, they're 3-3. The Jags are 4-2. They're basically 4-1 though.
Plus 275 on DK. 4-1.
Oh, nice on plus 390 on FanDuel.
Not a bad number. And they beat and they won head-to-head in Jacksonville. So I was actually thinking about Texans yesterday. I was like, should we be betting D'Amico Ryan Coach of the Year?
Yeah, I was thinking that
he's
too.
Done a good job. Stroud's good. They're going in the right direction. I can pull up those markets.
Yeah.
I'm looking at DraftKings. Jags are minus 125. I still think the Jags have enough to get it done, but I can't argue against.
Yeah, FanDuel likes the Jags more. They got them at minus 150, and then they've got the
Always shop around. D'Amico Ryan's 9-1 at DraftKings to win Coach of the Year. Campbell's the short shot. I don't know about Campbell. They were supposed to be good. They were favored to win the division.
Yeah.
McDaniel, I get because that's his offense. He's plus 275. He's viewed as being so innovative. I get that. Shanahan plus 850. I get that. They could win 14 or 15 games. That'll put him in the mix. Our boy Sal is not dead, Brad, and we should mention that game. Sal is 17-1. If he can claw that team in the playoffs, he's not dead. He's really not. We talked about how hard that schedule was, and hey, you could be 3-3, and it's not in bad shape. That was with Rodgers. Without Rodgers, they still got the 3-3 somehow. Schedule gets a little easier. There would be a huge, huge narrative if they got a wild card spot. He'd have a great shot to win it.
Listen. I rebet him when we talked about it. And it was almost double odds. Yeah, and then then they started to suck, and I was like, wow.
I forgot about it. Yeah, yep.
I mean,
it's not.
And wait, sorry, Brian, but I'm so confused. What was the play calling in that Philadelphia game too?
I've been saying, I feel like people
or was it just bad decision making? I'm not doing it I'm saying it because if you're a Phillies fan, you can have an opinion.
I'm saying in terms of people have been trying to dunk on me as a Phillies fan. All the texts of other people that aren't Eagles fans trying to say this and that. I've been saying the Eagles haven't looked good since week 1. I feel like people separate fandom from actually using their brain. The play calling is horrible. I mean, we had DeAndre Swift wasn't effective, but all of the runs were quarterback draws. I mean, we ran our quarterback draw on 3rd and 13, which was whatever. Do your thing, but they don't know how to use the middle of the field. They only throw outside the numbers, and it's just the Philadelphia Eagles has such a talented offensive roster that you shouldn't be having this much of an issue to get them going in certain games.
How many drops?
Is that because neither of your big name wide receivers want to go up the middle?
I mean,
AJ Brown's not catching passes.
He
already know AJ Brown. Yeah, and he was I want the longevity.
I'll say this. Out of all the blame you can place on people, AJ Brown's probably near the end of the list for me in terms of that offense.
No. I'm saying is the reason why you guys don't pass across the middle because your 2 big money wide receivers don't want to catch passes across the middle.
To our credit, Devonta Smith did have a 30-yard pass right up the middle and just forgot how to play football for 30 seconds. So yeah, but I'm saying more in the realm of Swift on the angle routes or Dallas Goedert being involved or this and that. The middle of the field is it's not even a threat, it's a lot easier to defend if you're not even trying to go up the middle in any regard, whether it's running the football or passing the football in that intermediate spots.
Eagles minus 180 to win the division. Cowboys plus 160. Schedule does get tough for Philly. You get Miami next week, which is a fascinating game. Then starting in November, they play the Cowboys twice. They play the 49ers. They play the Bills. They play the Chiefs. So I don't know if you trust the Cowboys enough to jump in plus 160, but the schedule does get tough for Philly here.
It's gonna be big if the Cowboys are able to kick that game-winning field goal today when eventually they're driving with the Chargers that somehow blew a 30-point lead.
I guess it's a good segue to get to that. Let's see. Cowboys laying a point and a half. We'll call it a point and a half. Total 50.5. It's come down. I saw it get to 50, then it ticked back up. This is a fun game. It's a good game. I don't know that it's a great game to bet. With these 2 teams, you kind of get what you deserve if you bet these teams. They're both talented. You don't really trust them. I don't know. The over looks a little low, 50.5. This could be, I could see a 28-24 type of game. Chargers are an over team. They can move the ball. They can't really stop anybody. I'll let you guys take it wherever you want to go. I mean, Chargers would be a good teaser leg if you want to pair it with something else. If you get them up to 7.5, but Josh, what do you got here?
losing
Chargers
close.
and Cowboys.
Yeah, they do.
What'd you say, Brian?
So they love losing close. He mentioned the teaser leg.
Sure.
I mean, they love losing close.
It's a law. It's a law. They have to play a close game. It's.
I'm not betting this game.
Okay.
I'm not. I'm not even going to fake a bet on it. I am going to abstain until we talk about baseball. I lost money yesterday. I need to cleanse my brain. So I'm just going to go look at baseball props.
You had $100 free bet on this game. Who would you take?
Chargers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dallas.
No question. Yeah.
I'd take Dallas. Okay, so I just want to say that I would probably take Keenan Allen and CeeDee Lamb for both 100 plus yards. It's 18-1. I haven't locked it in yet because I want to build it on other websites to see what the best number I get is. But I did take CeeDee Lamb over 69.5 or 70 plus. You could still find some 50.5s laying around at -115. The Chargers basically just give up to the number one option. They are, I think, bottom 5 in yards allowed to the number one target, 86.5 receiving per game. Lamb's going to have one of those diva games where basically you just feed the absolute crap out of your wide receiver after not doing it the week before. So that's my favorite bet for the game. Yeah, if I had a free $100, I'd put it on Cowboys money line. I would just slurp the juice.
I would lean the over. The under. I would leave the under because 51.5 if you can get it. If I had that same $100 bet that Will was talking about, you mentioned betting on these teams, you deserve to be frustrated. So I don't know if I trust either of these teams, but I just don't know if there's enough big plays to get to 52 points. I feel like people forget that.
I'm seeing 50.5. Are you seeing 51.5?
I bet. Is there no 50? Let me check Pickett. Earlier today, I got 51. I figured
DraftKings 50.5, FanDuel 50.5.
51 even on, let's see what books have 51 even. MGM has 51 even, and so does PointsBet.
And then Bet Rivers has 50 flat.
Yeah, 50 really. Yeah. So if you can find 51, I'm not saying you have to take a bet. I'm just saying if I had to take a bet here, I think people forget that these two offenses are so good, but they forget that the lines are baked into that. I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like sometimes people are like, oh, the offense are good, go the over. It's like, yeah, but it's 51.5 or 50.5 for a reason because of that exact thing you're saying. So I would lean the under.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think the Chargers, if you want to tease them with something, Jags +2 on Thursday night against the Saints. It's a tough travel spot for the Jags. They've been, London back. They haven't had any time off. Now they're on the road, but get the Chargers up to 7.5 and you tease the Jags +8 against the Saints. That's a lot of points. I think Lawrence is going to play. Maybe wait on that. That's probably why the line is moving in that direction, but there's plenty of different teaser options for next week. Let's see. Seahawks Cardinals is 8. So if you want to tease the Seahawks down, that's another takeaway from yesterday. The Cardinals might just be who we thought they were. They've kind of gotten blown out 3 straight weeks now.
Yeah.
Cowboys and being competitive early.
They were exactly who we
would expect a close game, would expect a high scoring game. Might be a better game to watch than bet. This might be a good live betting opportunity because either of these teams get down by 10 points, they'll probably come back. So this might be a good live betting opportunity. Just take whoever falls behind because, like I said, both these teams play a lot of close games. Chargers play nothing but close games. So nothing for me. We can get to baseball. Do you guys want to look at first touchdown scorer? I know we hate these markets now, and man, I have not done well on these. I saw who was in GoldBoys gave out the first touchdown last night. Already 35-1. We can hear now. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, my mic kicked out. Sorry
Somebody gave it, and then JD reposted it.
Call it out.
35-1 or something. That's a hell of a call. My goodness.
Listen. This dude is insane with these calls, but I wish I could he could get on a show and explain these calls. And because I don't know if he's being serious when he's just like because sometimes he'll say I like the odds. I don't know if he's being serious or he has the method. But dudes who hit these stuff, I wanted me as a sports bettor, I want to learn how they consistently hit these first touchdown scores. First basket. Yeah, basket hit $50 to win $60,000 last night on first touchdown scorers.
Wow. Eckler's +475. He's a short shot. My goodness. Pollard +550. Lamb is 8-1. Allen is +950. Ferguson's 12-1. Palmer 14-1. Quentin Johnson and Gallup both 15-1. Kelly 17-1. Cooks and Everett 18-1, 19-1. Parnham, who's gotten this before, 22-1. Then you get the quarterbacks. Herbert's 22-1. Dak is 25. I mean, you got like 12 guys 25-1 and under. The hold is just so outrageous. Dallas defense 25-1. Does anything jump out to anybody there?
Wow, those are really the prices get grosser.
Oh God, you're not kidding.
I'm saying the higher the total of a game, you're obviously going to have worse prices.
I'm so shook.
Gerald Everett, 16-1.
Herbert's been running a lot. He had a couple weeks ago. I think the last game they played was against the Raiders. He had the first touchdown. He had another rushing touchdown. Maybe they finally discovered that their quarterbacks is 6'9" and they can do QB sneaks if they get close. So again, Eckler back hurts that maybe a little bit, but I guess Herbert 22-1 is not awful.
You shop your lines, Jake Ferguson 17-1. Like Jake Ferguson, he gets a lot of red zone targets.
Okay. Yeah, and on prime they target Jake Ferguson's tight end, right? They target tight ends a lot on prime time. The Cowboys.
Dude,
I like Gerald Everett.
It's Dak Prescott's tight end. He's gonna be peppered with
targets.
Yeah.
Dude, prime time is literally for the Cowboys. They target tight ends in the red zone so much. Like I just remember thinking that last season.
Like, what's the correlation with that trend? Like, what's?
I have no idea.
I don't know about prime time. I just know Dak throws to his tight ends on just all the time.
Maybe it's more of Josh's statement that's true, but it's just more. It's a heightened realization.
Did you see the Jerry Jones comments about that they asked him about CeeDee Lamb if they should get the ball more because he's so frustrated, and he straight up said that he likes to see the ball in the tight end's hand. So I don't know if that's him just being an old, weird, unserious owner, if there's truth to that, but he did say that in an interview that he enjoys to see the ball going into the tight end's hands.
Right on. He's so senile now.
So before we move on to baseball, because I know we
about Jerry.
We have to move to baseball, but my mic cut out earlier. Before we leave, I just want to give out the one play I had. I had one prop I gave out on GoldBoys for this game, which is Tony Pollard over 20.5 receiving yards.
I was gonna say I'm 100% sure it is a running back, either receiving yards or reception prop. I was 100% sure.
You know what's funny though, Josh? I'm having so much success with low volume props, whether it's running back or quarterback on prime time. I think there's something to it, but I'll just go in real quick. Just Chargers are giving up 55 yards a game in the receiving game, 2 running backs, 8 catches per game for them. You talk about Dak checking it down to tight ends. He checks it down a lot. I mean, Pollard, even though he's only hit this in 2 of his 5 games, he's getting 5 targets a game. So this is a softer linebacker core that if you can give me 3 catches against this team, I need 21 yards. I think it's a very doable outcome for him.
Yeah, I like that too. Chargers blitz a lot too, which should help that number.
I just need a higher number. I thought you were going to give.
I just need one good screen blocking play.
To
get a block.
I feel like you and I are usually looking for the like 11.5, 8.5, 13.5 yards receiving for the running back. Or
20 and a half,
the 20.5 starts to get me a little nervous with running back targets, right? Because obviously we're talking about like an A dot.
Also, I guess a guy like Pacheco that gets 2 a game is a lot different than 5 a game for Pollard. So that's kind of where I came in. I haven't projected 26.5. I think this is good.
I like the over 2.5 receptions for him today. That's where that line usually is, and I think it's good for him.
All right. Anything else on this one? I kind of think Dallas beats them. It's pretty much a home game for Dallas. I know it's in LA, but that's going to be all Cowboy fans there.
That's why I'm not betting. Is because like I lean the Chargers, and I'm like I'm fucking wrong. Like this is one of those things I'm missing something, and maybe it is a bounce back, and I should just be I'm fading the Cowboys because I saw them get killed, and I didn't believe in them then. But still, like it's a Chargers Cowboys game. It's going to be inside of 5 points.
Sure. All right, baseball. 2 games today. We get a day game. It's a good day of baseball. 4:37 Eastern, the Astros -120, total 8.5. And then the night game, Wheeler and Gowan, Phillies and Diamondbacks, Phillies -166. We could spend a lot of time on these, but I'll just start with this. Is this a must win for the Astros?
Yes. 100%. But dude, holy crap!
I don't think it is because I think
they can win Texas.
Yeah, because if they won game, let's just say they lose today, they're down 2-0. They're going to Texas. They've actually played better on the road. If they won game 3, they're down 2-1. I have too much. It's close. I think it's close to a must win, but I just have too much respect for Houston. Where it's like if they lose, it's over. But obviously a big game.
But the numbers were crazy. Every number said you should have bet Texas yesterday, but I didn't hear any of these numbers until the game was already on. Like it's 1-0, and they start saying that the Astros are 40-43 at home in the postseason. Yeah. And they say Jordan Montgomery hasn't lost a postseason game yet. The Texans the Rangers were plus money. I would have heard that before You know how I am about the coin flips. Go ahead and give me a coin flip
Yeah.
for plus money. I'll take it every
Right.
single time.
I have that.
Chapman almost gave it away again. He almost gave it away. That ball got hit a long way by Brett.
Yeah, that ball
turning
goes
into a
hard.
double play.
Oh.
So
Yeah, I was gonna say it was I had the because like DraftKings always has those 50% boost spread, so I did take Rangers because like you said it was a coin flip with this that, so it was a plus 150. Yeah, I saw Trent was like a 10-unit mega wax play on him. I got a little nervous, but could we just talk about like real quick? Jordan Montgomery's been so good for this team. Like that was such an
Yeah,
underrated.
yeah.
I feel like people almost thought it was like a joke that like, oh, you're trying to make a run and you go out and get Jordan Montgomery. He's been super solid for them the
been
entire time.
he's a good pitcher.
What were his pitching outs last night? I literally tried to bet him pregame, and then I had a whole takeout food debacle where I missed the game. They freaking messed up my order, so then I had to go back and all the nonsense. So I didn't get a chance to bet pregame. What happened?
14.5 outs. He was 3.5 Ks. It was really low, and I think he ended up with 6 Ks.
Wow.
Which I'm looking at these today.
He put 6
Valdez,
Ks?
yeah, Valdez is 4.5 Ks. They're both 4.5 Ks. Eovaldi was actually 3.5 earlier. The 4.5 over for Eovaldi's plus money. And the outs are interesting. Both guys are at 14.5. Both guys are juiced a little bit to a decent amount to the over, but I kind of like all the overs just because Dusty Baker and Bochy are both old school managers. They both let their pitchers pitch. So getting through 5 innings, getting to 5 Ks with these guys seems pretty reasonable. I would look at overs here.
Yeah.
No,
I like the Gallon one for sure. I didn't know the other. No, wait, who's pitching again for the? Oh, I'm drawing a blank. Who's
Wheeler's for the Phillies. Yeah.
Wheeler. That's who it was. Yeah.
And
What's
you
Wheeler's
guys-
number?
You mentioned
16.5.
You mentioned overs. What do you think about that? Well, I mean, I bet is over 17.5 and 15.5. And I know there's like, oh, you worry about regression, this and that, but man, he's just been good. Like, I know you're supposed to expect regression, but does anyone buy in that sometimes you can just lock in? Like, I don't know. I think there's
Get hot at the right time.
Definitely.
Him going 6 innings, giving up 1 run is not unreasonable. I would look nothing but overs for both of them. For Gallon's 14.5, Wheeler 16.5. I like all 4 overs here. I'm worried like just you can always lose the over, guy gets bombed or whatever, but Gallon's their guy. They're gonna let him go 5 innings unless he's really bad. And same with Wheeler.
I did Phillies again. Since the Philly special loss, I just took him to win this series straight up.
Oh, I forgot to take it. Thank God. I would have been so pissed. I forgot about that. We mentioned that in the show, and I just forgot to bet it. Oh,
I'm not gonna lie. Listen, that was a good opportunity for me to get some marketing there. Philly fans love Philadelphia, so when you say Philly, the SEO of the charts, lost the unit with some great marketing that I bet that had a chance to win. But I'm just going back and just putting 2 units on the series. I'm not gonna make it complicated,
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah, I was gonna say too. Well, you mentioned you can always lose an over because your guy gets bombed, but if you're betting over under on a guy like say Zach Wheeler against an offense, it's probably, I mean, like it's nowhere near what he saw with the Braves, but like it's like a matter of I'd almost rather have the fluke bomb rather than trusting that like some way somehow he's going to be like 80 pitches through 4 and really struggling with the walks and whatnot. I think that's just a better way to play it.
Yeah, and Philly is 5-1 to win in 5 on DraftKings. I saw some other books that had them a 10-1 to sweep. Minus a game and a half is plus 125. I just think Philly wins. I don't think this goes 7. It feels disrespectful for a team like Arizona. They beat the Dodgers in 3 and they swept Milwaukee. They're 5-0 in the playoffs. It feels disrespectful. Like, oh, they're just going to get swept. They're not going to win any games. I think this is a short series. I think they've done well in the series to get it to 6. I just think Philly's got advantages everywhere. Bullpen, lineup, Wheeler and Nola pitching well. That home field for Philly. That's a young team for Arizona. Sometimes Cinderella in all these sports, when it crashes hard. Think of what was it, St. Peter's a few years ago in the NCAA tournament when they went to the Elite and they lose by 1,000,000 points to North Carolina. Like, I don't know. I just feel like this is Philly's series. Gallon's not as good on the road. I just think this is like Philly in 5. I wouldn't be shocked if they swept them.
So would you play? So you're going to play both quarterbacks. Oh my God.
Both pitchers.
Options.
So you're going to play both. You're going to play both. There's pitching outs for that game or just Gallon?
I played Gallon. I haven't played Wheeler yet. I probably will.
Okay.
I'd try to say,
You played Gallon on DraftKings, right?
Yeah, 14.5 over.
Because it's 15.5 on FanDuel and a couple other spots, but like obviously juiced you can take the over for plus money.
If you want to really, I mean, it's a lot of juice to try to middle it, but
it's such a key number. I think at 14 versus 15, I think you just take the 14. Yeah.
I agree.
In the chat, someone mentioned you'd be surprised if Diamondbacks have some guys that grind a lot more bats than the Braves. I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying they're like a 250 average against righties, and like their walk rate's around 9%. It's more of a trusting of Wheeler that he only averages a little under 4 pitches per play appearance. I trust Alex more with a guy like that than some other guys that are more finesse guys. Zach Wheeler, if it's 1-2, he's not going to waste 2 pitches getting to a long at bat as often as some other guys. He might just come right at you, which is kind of what he's been doing. And for a guy that gets 100 pitches or more every start, I do lean the over.
Yep. You guys have anything on this series? There's all different ways to play this. Most runs in this series, most RBIs, most hits. I feel like there's probably some opportunity somewhere. I don't know. Anyone else have anything on either of these series?
No, I already have myself locked up. If you were gonna like give me a bet right now, what are the Astros? They're slightly plus money.
Yeah, and plus 150, something like that.
Yeah.
You see. Yeah,
I
thought
think they're gonna
Texas
win
minus
tonight. I don't know.
170.
They got me shook now.
Yeah, I would say this. I would
Plus
we talked
150.
about last week. I leaned the Phillies with the juice, but I have nothing in this series just because I have futures of Phillies World Series or Phillies NL winner. So I'm just already kind of locked up. So I don't really have any plays to add on unless you believe the Astros are going to come back, and I actually believe the Rangers might are the ones that are getting out of that series.
Yeah, I mean, they won one game already. They won it on the road. I think it's probably still a long series. So jumping in and getting plus money on Houston, I mean, it comes down to what you think is going to happen tonight. Obviously, if you think they're going to lose, you would just wait and take Houston. Obviously, if it's 1-1 after tonight, we're probably looking at a long series. I think that's a long series anyway. I think if there's a series that can go 7, I mean, look, they both had identical records in the regular season. They were both 90 and 72. The division came down to the last day. So I think Phillies Diamondbacks is a short series. I think Houston Texas is still a little bit more of a toss-up. So I think that one's going 7.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, Brad? You got a soccer play, right?
Yeah, I do have a soccer play. It's a little parleezy. Let me pull it up real quick. So this is your Europe qualifiers. Actually, I'm gonna give 2 soccer plays out because I said that I dropped this in the GoldBoys chat, but I didn't actually talk on the show. First one, we'll talk about the parlay. It's Belgium versus Sweden. Belgium draw, double chance. I mean, which means if they win or they draw, that side cashes. They're going against the Sweden team. This Belgium team is fun on the attack. Obviously, Kevin De Bruyne's not playing. Lukaku should play. He's a maybe. They already locked it up, but this Sweden team I don't rate high at all. So they should definitely at least get a win at home. Something about good teams, even after they qualify, when they play at home, they want to do it for their home fans. So I see them at least getting one. And then Portugal travels to Bosnia to take on Bosnia, and I have Portugal to win. That Portugal team stacked, dude. Like I think Portugal is should be a favorite to win Euro 2020. But with that said, I have another bet parlay with Real Madrid to win Champions League and France to win Euro 2024. I keep saying Euro 2020. Wow, my mind's stuck in the past. With France to win Euro 2024, it pays about 30-1. France is the clear favorite for obvious reasons, and Real Madrid should always get to the finals. So it should be fun there.
What was the Belgium bet exactly?
Belgium double chance.
Double chance.
So yeah, some books write it out that says double chance. And then some books write it out with plus 0.5.
Right. Cool.
So, Trev, I haven't. The only game that I capped so far was the for hockey today. Which game? See, I told you I didn't even have a bet that came from it. I can't remember. I only capped one so far today. I'll put it in my chat. What I think. I only want to play a ladder or something that's with plus money for the entire season. I don't want to take minus odds. I may be a sicko. I may be a sicko and take Bedard under 3.5 shots on target just because the price is insane now. He minus 167 to have 3.5 shots on target, and that's just like a lot of respect. Obviously, his release point's great. He's shooting at will, but like sometimes we have to like, was it buy low, buy high, whatever, sell high, whatever we have to do. So yeah, exactly, Tone. Exactly. It's a huge line. So I don't care who that is.
All right. We got a fun sports day. A couple baseball games starting here in a few hours. So we got one the afternoon game into the night game, fun Monday night game. So we'll be back tomorrow. Appreciate you guys in the chats. Enjoy the games. Brad, Brian, Josh, appreciate you guys. Thank you to Sleeper. Thank you to Pickett. We'll be back noon Eastern tomorrow. Till then, see you guys.